Have you ever wondered why you can't stop thinking about that one person? It seems as though they have taken up home in your mind permanently, whether they are an ex, a crush, or even someone you hardly know. No explanation, no eviction notice, just continual cameos in your head that you never agreed to. As it happens, there is more to this than a random malfunction in your brain's operating system. Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in psychology, believed that when someone lingers in your thoughts, it's no accident. In fact, it might be one of the biggest clues to understanding yourself. So what's really going on here? Is it love, obsession, or perhaps something even deeper that you aren't consciously aware of? Buckle up, because we're about to dive into the fascinating world of Jung's theories, the shadow, anima, and animus, projection, and the mysterious force of synchronicity. By the end, you might just see that person in a whole new light, or maybe you'll realize it was never about them at all. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." He believed that the human mind is like a labyrinth, filled with hidden passageways leading to treasures of self-discovery. However, most of us never venture into these dark corners. Instead, we stay on the surface, caught up in daily life, while our unconscious mind quietly works overtime. When someone repeatedly appears in your thoughts, Jung believed it wasn't just coincidence, it was a wake-up call from the unconscious. Picture your mind as an iceberg. The tip is everything you're aware of, your thoughts, feelings, and memories. But the massive unseen chunk below the waterline? That's your unconscious, where most of the real action happens. It holds your repressed desires, unresolved emotions, and hidden fears. So when someone keeps resurfacing in your mind, it's often because they've triggered something buried deep within that unconscious realm. Maybe they said something that resonated with an old memory. Maybe they embody a quality you long for. According to Jung, these moments aren't accidents, they're signals. But don't worry, it doesn't mean you're doomed to be haunted by them forever. It just means it's time to pay attention to what your mind is trying to tell you. Get to know your shadow. No, the one that lurks in your mind, not the one you see on the sidewalk. The shadow, according to Jung, is the aspect of ourselves that we suppress, reject, or dismiss because it doesn't align with our ideal self-concept. The interesting part is that the individuals who come to mind may be your shadow disguised as someone else. Let's say you admire someone's confidence but secretly struggle with self-doubt. Or maybe you're drawn to their creativity because you've neglected your own. On the flip side, someone might irritate you because they embody traits you refuse to admit you have, like arrogance or impulsiveness. Jung believed our relationships with others often mirror our relationships with ourselves. When someone occupies your thoughts, they might be reflecting a part of your shadow that's begging for attention. It's as if your unconscious is saying, "Hey, remember me? We need to talk." Realizing this can have tremendous impact. Asking yourself, what part of me are they reflecting, will help you stop worrying about why you're thinking about them. How can this help me grow? The shadow is something to investigate rather than something to be afraid of. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious, as Jung sagely observed. Now let's talk about two of Jung's most intriguing concepts, the anima and animus. These archetypes represent the feminine and masculine aspects of our psyche, playing a huge role in how we relate to others. The anima is the inner feminine in men, while the animus is the inner masculine in women. But don't get too caught up in gender. These are symbolic representations that everyone possesses, regardless of identity. So what does this have to do with someone living rent-free in your head? According to Jung, when you're fixated on someone, it may be because they resonate with your anima or animus. Maybe they align with your subconscious ideal of a partner, or they bring out qualities in you that you're not fully aware of. For instance, you might be drawn to their emotional depth because it mirrors something you crave in your own life. But here's the kicker. It's not just about attraction. Sometimes the anima or animus creates illusions. You might project an idealized image onto someone, seeing them not as they are, but as your unconscious wants them to be. And that can lead to some pretty confusing feelings. Understanding this dynamic can be a game changer. Instead of asking, why am I obsessed with them? Ask, what part of me are they awakening? It's a reminder that the people who occupy our thoughts often reflect the most intimate parts of ourselves. This is where things start to get pretty crazy. According to Jung, a large portion of our feelings for other people are entirely personal and have little to do with them. We refer to this phenomena as projection. Imagine it as a kind of mental movie theater where you project your ambitions, anxieties, and thoughts onto someone else as though they were the main character. Imagine you admire someone for their ambition. In reality, this might be a quality you wish you had more of, or one you already possess but haven't fully acknowledged. Or maybe you dislike someone because they remind you of something you fear about yourself, like being overly critical or emotionally distant. Whatever it is, your unconscious is using them as a screen to project parts of your psyche that need attention. The tricky part? Projection feels real. It's easy to mistake these feelings for facts. You might think they're amazing or they're terrible without realizing you're actually talking about yourself. Jung saw this as a major opportunity for growth. When you catch yourself obsessing over someone, whether in admiration or frustration, stop and ask, what am I really seeing here? What does this say about me? By owning your projections, you reclaim those parts of yourself and stop giving other people so much power over your thoughts. It's not easy, but as Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Ever thought about someone only to have them text you moments later? Or maybe you've been thinking about them for weeks and then bump into them in the most unexpected place? It feels like the universe is winking at you or playing tricks. Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity or meaningful coincidence, and he believed it was no accident. Jung defined synchronicity as events that are connected not by cause and effect, but by meaning. When your thoughts and external events align in a way that feels significant, it's a sign that something deeper is at work. Maybe your unconscious is so focused on this person that it's influencing your perception of reality. Or maybe there's a larger, unseen force at play, linking your inner world with the outer one. But here's the key. Synchronicity isn't just about random chance. It's a call to action, a moment to reflect on why this person is showing up in your life and what you're supposed to learn from it. Are they triggering an unresolved emotion? Representing a path you're afraid to take? Or maybe they're simply here to remind you of your own power to create meaning. The next time something synchronistic happens, don't just shrug it off as coincidence. Take it as a nudge from the universe or your unconscious to dig deeper. As Jung said, synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. Every idea and feeling we have brings us one step closer to realizing who we are. Our minds are like treasure maps. Don't ignore someone who keeps showing up in your thoughts. Instead, take it as a chance to go deeper into your unconscious, because it's ultimately about you, not simply about them. Our personal development is frequently facilitated by the people who occupy our thoughts. In other words, inhale deeply, plunge in, and learn what your mind has been telling you all along.